Good afternoon or good morning to some of us. If you can see the slide and if you can hear my voice, then you're all set. Good afternoon. Welcome so much to everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Coaching Towards Authentic and Challenging Instruction. Today is June 28th, 2022. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. All right. So for today, I just want to go ahead and introduce ourselves so you know who you'll be hearing and seeing throughout the course of our session today. My name is Nipa Sarati, and I'm the Senior Manager of Professional Learning with the VILS program. I do have my contact information right there for you. So if you'd like, you're more than welcome to take that down. I am in North Carolina, currently I'm in Michigan, but I live down in North Carolina and I service the Southeast region. And I have my wonderful moderator today, and I'll let him go ahead and introduce himself along with another teammate of ours.
Hi, everybody. I'm Todd DeSando. I'm also on the VILS team, and I am an instructional technology trainer. And we also have Lakara Stewart, and she is fantastic in setting all this up. And you guys, we have a great session set up for you today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Todd, for that. And Todd will go ahead and drop links intermittently throughout the course of our session. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and drop those comments into our chat. So along with that, our community agreements, I know y'all have seen this, heard this, and I'll share it to you once more today. Please go ahead and mute your mic or unmute to speak, but we will have an opportunity for comments and questions. If you do have some comments and questions, please use our Zoom chat thread for this. Always be mindful. I know there's lots of things going on, and as it is summer, I totally understand that there are other matters that may be pulling you, like, I don't know, the sun, the pool, some nice cold beverages. It totally makes sense. But if you can be here with us for this one short hour today, be fully present and be kind to yourself and others. We understand that emergencies and urgencies do arise, and please just be kind to yourself and others on this one. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and kick off. What I want us to do is we're going to watch this video and answer a couple of questions, or just answer the questions about the challenge-based learning that's going to be taking place. So what I want us to focus on are, what are some characteristics of the instruction that make it authentic and challenging? And I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and please let me know if y'all are able to hear the volume, and if not, let me know and I'll come back and I'll resituate this, okay? But I do want us to focus on that question: what are some characteristics of the instruction that make it authentic and challenging? And I do have the Answer Garden link, but please let me know if you do see that. Can we hear it?
So our big idea was, how do we reduce the waste at Carroll Magnet Middle School? And so we really didn't know what we were going to do.
So then we started composting food that shouldn't be wasted.
We had to figure out, what can we put in, or like, what is composting? We went to janitors and we were asking, like, what is this? What is, like, how do we do this? And they told us that we have a composting bin outside of our school. And so we went to go find it, and we saw that no one was ever really using it. In the CBL project, we had to find out, like, what the data was, and that was pretty much just a lot of math. And the social studies part of it was, like, trying to find out, like, where did composting come from? Like, what is composting? The science was, like, really composting. Like, what is composting? What do you do when you do composting? And a lot of the language arts was just reading all of the information and getting it and understanding what it was, what it meant. My favorite part of the CBO
Hello? Test, test. Can anybody hear me? I can't hear anything.
Yes.
And
It's
seeing the
back.
whole school.
Sorry.
Yes, I feel like I did.
Is this
And
where
a
we
lot
cut
of
out?
the language arts was just reading all
Yes.
the information
Thanks.
and getting it and understanding what it was, what it meant. My favorite part of the CBO project was that I got to like know different people and know more things about composting. And I also got to help my own school, which was really cool.
Yes, I feel like I did make a difference in Carroll because we stopped our team from wasting a bunch of food. When the middle school kids feel like they made a difference, they start telling other people how, and then the people they tell other people how, and so on. And soon it'll be like the whole city of Raleigh composting, and soon the whole state. Hello world! Our global goal is to reduce consumption and production.
The challenge is to reduce waste at Carroll Magnet Middle School. Our solution is we are composting.
Okay. So, sorry, let me grab everything back here. All right, so what were some characteristics of the instruction that made this more authentic and challenging? And this is our answer garden link. Todd, if you so kindly will drop that in our chat, then folks will be able to go ahead and answer that. And I do want to give you all a little bit of time just to kind of think about what we just saw here, what we just witnessed, what the students were doing, what was that challenge, right? What were the challenging pieces, and then what was the solution? What were these team of students doing at Carroll Middle School? And I'm going to go ahead and refresh. Let me make sure it's come through. Awesome. Cross-curricular integration, emotional connections, absolutely. And through those conversations that they had with the custodians and cafeteria workers, what did the students discover? I'm going to give it a little wait time. We're all educators, y'all. We have it in us to give that little wait time, right? So it's totally fine. I'm going to Perfect. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. Awesome. Hands-on activities and collaboration. Absolutely. That cross integration with every subject. How ideal is that? Collaboration for the environmental causes, real world problems, research-based, real world applications, student ownership. That is huge, right? Active learning. The students are absolutely engaged, as you saw in this video, right? And it wasn't, you didn't see one straggler or 3-4 folks not being able to understand or be engaged in this activity. So this is a really great way for us to go ahead and get ourselves deep into this coaching towards that authentic and challenging instruction. And I don't want to I want to make sure, that I want to give you the opportunity to get the mic. If there is someone who would like to go ahead and share something out with us, you are more than welcome to at this time. If you didn't have a chance to go ahead and type it into the answer garden, that's okay. You can speak freely on this mic. This is a safe space for us. Is there anyone who'd like to share out their thoughts?
I can share.
Yes, thank you, Marissa.
So I really liked how they allowed the students to focus on serving a greater purpose, something larger than themselves and outside the classroom, and then in turn building like a larger community. Things that are the greatest things in the world that are built with a community, and teaching them that at a young age is definitely preparing them to be leaders.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marissa. I don't think I could have said it any better myself. Thank you so much for sharing that. I do appreciate it. And you're right. The more that we get them involved, the more that we allow the students to have these hands-on activities and experiences in person, the more that they're going to be apt to want to learn more, as well as help their communities and create these solutions. So thank you for that. Anyone else?
I like that they had from the beginning to the end of their project. Theoretically, normally in classroom, they build their like blueprint, but they don't ever actually follow through to see their actual end product. So I think the ability to not just keep it as a thought or an idea, but actually seeing it in progress and how it worked.
And I love that, Glenda. Thank you for bringing that up. That process from beginning to the creation piece to the during, and then seeing the fruition, seeing the end goal, seeing it actually occur, I think that makes a stronger impact for the students' learning. So thank you for highlighting that piece. All right, thank you so much. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. I want to make sure that we have the opportunity to do some things on our own in just a moment, but let me go ahead and read out to you the session objectives. Excuse me. You're going to gain some strategies for embedding this authentic and challenging instruction with that content to create solutions for these real world problems, such as the ones that you just saw on the video. You're going to learn how to bring that content alive. You're going to learn how to connect to those community problems, apply what's been learned in the classroom to those real world situations, and then collaborate to become a part of that solution. Okay. So what is powerful learning? And I'm going to give us a moment just to kind of read this as I read it out loud to you. But powerful learning is the set of these principles. We're guiding educators to design these learning experiences, which engages the hearts and the minds of the learners, right? That's our true goal. We want them to have this where it's personal and accessible, authentic and challenging, collaborative and connected, and inquisitive and reflective. These forward learning experiences really provide the opportunities for those students to deeply engage in their learning while using the tech in ways that contribute to closing that digital learning gap is what our end goal always is, right? So with this, I just want to share out with you that powerful learning must be authentic and challenging, because when students are engaged in this work that has the audience and the impact outside of their classrooms, they're more motivated, as you all saw in that video, to persist in overcoming these learning challenges. The authentic and challenging lessons really develop those habits that, as Marissa was also mentioning earlier, in just having the students' mindsets where it needs to be empathetic to global citizens and engaged members of their community. These learning experiences really challenge the students to perform at the highest reaches of their abilities while tackling the authentic and meaningful goals that can drive the students towards achieving their most ambitious learning goals. Now, you've heard me read this, or you've been hearing my voice. Can I have a brave soul to read out loud what's on their slide right now about what the research says?
I can do that.
I got you.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, great, brave souls. Thank you. Go ahead.
I don't know who you were saying. I'll just read what the research says. Educators who focus on creating an authentic and challenging learning environment help learners understand that the biggest challenges they will be called on to solve go beyond and across all academic disciplines. They cultivate empowered learners who are purposeful, motivated, resourceful, and strategic.
Wonderful. Thank you. You must have done this quite a few times because you had the best intonation in your voice. Thank you, Carolyn, so much for that. Absolutely, though, they cultivate the empowered learners, right? And that's what we want to do. We want to provide them with the more purpose of this challenge and then motivate them, provide these resources, have them help themselves to be more resourceful and strategic when they're doing this. So thank you for that. Who can take up the next one? What's the whole point of this powerful learning? What's the meaning of it?
I can do that.
Thanks, Louise.
What's the point? Powerful learning is a set of principles to guide educators designing learning experiences that engage the hearts and minds of learners and incorporate technology in ways that contribute to closing the digital learning gap.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to make sure that these powerful learnings really guide our students as we as educators are developing and designing these learning experiences for them to close that digital learning gap. So perfect. Thank you. And in all of this, what's the teacher doing? I'll give you all a minute to just read through that one as I go through it. So the research says basically what the teacher does is that they focus on creating the authentic and challenging learning environment by helping those learners understand that biggest challenge that they'll be called to solve, to go beyond and across those all academic disciplines. So how you guys were mentioning the cross-curriculum integration, and then they cultivate those empowered learners who are purposeful, motivated, resourceful, and strategic, as was just shared on the last slide. So absolutely. And by the way, if you all ever need, the citations, you could see the links are enclosed down there. They're hyperlinked for a digital promise. Powerful learning is authentic and challenging. Okay. All right. So what's the student doing in all of this? I know y'all are wondering, like, really, what's going on? What is happening? The application piece of it, because we did the learning piece. Now the application piece. The student gets to research what's going on. They're engaged when the activity is happening. So student engagement increases when the relevance, the value, and authenticity are maximized. They're more invested in learning when they know why they're learning something. Isn't that the case for all of us? Like, aren't we a little bit more vested in something when we understand the why behind what's going on, right? And it's important to note that not all learners will be motivated by the same purpose. We all know that. We have a great various learning style that happens in the classroom, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful to see. And it's even more powerful or impacting when the teacher or when the coach permits all those abilities to be able to shine through. So specifically when students are learning with that compassionate or altruistic intentions and can connect their learning to their ability to help others, they view their work as more meaningful and beneficial. So cultivating these intentions has been shown to enhance the students' persistence. Again, all this is research-based. You're more than welcome to take a look at the sites linked below. And for us to question, like, how's that tech being used in this? So tech, we all know, really affords those students and teachers the opportunities to connect with these real world problems and the audiences. And educators can use these frameworks and pedagogical approaches, such as that challenge-based learning or maker learning and computational thinking, to develop projects with students that serve their communities and prepare them to become that next generation of leaders and change makers. And that's essentially what we all want to have happen with our learners, right? Help them become those change makers. All right, so I'm going to pause. I know you've heard my voice a lot today, but when I say go, if you could in the chat, not yet, hang on. I know you guys got really quick fingers going on, but how are we doing? One, I'm unclear about that coaching towards authentic and challenging instruction, or two, kind of understand it, need a little bit more info, or three, you can take this session, run with it, and you can do this all on your own and you can present. So when I say go, type in 1, 2, or 3 in accordance to how you're feeling about this. Ready? And go. Ooh, look at all this coming through. 2s and 3s, perfect. Oh, you guys, this makes me feel so amazing. And I'm really okay with the 2s because we need more information, right? We definitely need more info in order for us to understand, feel better about this, connect with it, and know where we're going with it. So thank you all so very much. My slide deck has paused. Hang on. I apologize. Okay, let's see if there we go. All right, so let's really dive deep into this then, okay? Because of my friends who are saying 2s and 3s, I really want to give you that the opportunity to really understand what we're going to be doing today. So here is our application challenge. This is going to be a real world challenge, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share and show with you this roadmap, and it's a turn-by-turn guidance to the destinations on where you might want to go with real-world partners, okay? So this is a clickable slide, but I'm going to go ahead and share with you what I mean from this. Pardon my back clicking, just a second. All right, so on here, you can see that this is a really wonderful roadmap that Digital Promise has on their link. And in here, you can see that there are different drop downs on the destinations that you'd like to go to. So you can select a real world learning destination just by taking a look at these different activities that are located here. You can list it, or you can do it by the drop down of the location. So it could be in school, virtual, or out of school. By the prep time, like low prep time, medium, or like high, like you're going to need a lot more time to prep through. Or you can also filter it by scope, whether it be the classroom lesson, an event, or a school program. Okay, so for the sake of this session, and you can see all down here where if it's more immersive and if it needs more prep time, where these challenges kind of rest on our roadmap. Okay, so now for the sake of this session, I'm going to go ahead and select in school. We're going to do low session, and let's just do a classroom lesson. And by me clicking on just a couple of things here, y'all can see that it has kind of narrowed it down for myself, right? So I don't have to do a lot of the brain work. I can really allow myself to focus on the nitty gritty of the planning and things of that nature. So for the sake of this, maybe I, as a teacher, like I feel I need to push myself. Like this is something I can talk about in when we break out in just a moment. This is something that y'all are able to talk about in your groups. So is it something you've done before, something you'd like to try again, maybe you finesse it, or something totally brand new? So let's go ahead and select design challenge. And as you see, from this design challenge, it tells me everything that I really need to know, where it fosters the mindset that's going to have that lasting impact on the students' academic and social professional lives. In this student group, they're going to develop a solution to the real social issue, create a proposal, and provide expert feedback to refine their ideas. So all of this is really listed here. And if I take a look at this overview, I can go ahead and see, how does this fit with my classroom? Let me take a look. Let me make sure, is this something I really want to take time into planning this out, or is there another better fit for my students' needs, right? And in here, it tells us like students can learn and apply the valuable skills like calculated risk-taking, problem solving, innovative thinking, collaboration and success through the failure, building the skills through the curriculum aligned projects, and so on and so forth. And it provides me all these objectives that the students are able to do. And again, this is an activity that we kind of went through, and I said, I wanted it in the school, low prep time, and I can go ahead and put it in my classroom, right? So this kind of gives you a perspective, the ones that are not grayed out, basically, that it can still apply to medium planning. It can be out of school, it can be virtual, and it can also be an event. It also tells me what my students will gain. And you'll see these little purple little tip boxes or things of that nature, and it'll share and show with me kind of what I need to know. It'll provide the creativity and innovation, critical thinking, problem solving. So everything I kind of read earlier on the objective piece and on the overview, I can see it all fits right here. And if I scroll up, excuse me, and I look at the second tab of planning, this actually really allows me to go ahead and see the whole timeline of what really needs to happen, of getting started, of finding the partners from the real world. Who am I going to interact with? Like, who am I going to have my students interact with? Preparation. What do I need to do to be ready to launch? And then during the launching, how do I connect my students to the real world learning experiences? Following up, how will I follow up with everyone after the experience? And then that reflection piece, right? So you can see all of this is listed right here in the planning piece, in the planning guide. And right here, I already have the getting started piece. So this timeline, you'll see that it starts to correlate with the subsections down here about getting started, understanding those goals and commitments. I have an activity planning worksheet right there readily available. So I don't have to do any, like I said, I don't have to do any of the brain power to be like, oh my gosh, I need this. I don't have to think through those things because this has already thought about it all for me. And I can always, of course, add on if I need to. It'll have a sample design challenge sample plan. Like I said, those purple boxes that show up, they're kind of really great tips when I take a look at them. It'll show me supporting materials that can help me as I'm planning this out, as I'm building this out. From finding the partners, if I click on that, it'll tell me who from the real world is going to be interacting with my students. So it helps me think through the guest speaker invitation, the emails that I'd have to send out, so on and so forth. Some tips here. Same thing for the preparation. What do I need to be ready to launch this challenge? Creating these student-based syllabus, scheduling calls with speakers, designing a challenge, and so on and so forth. And you can see that there's rubrics down here, more tips to be shared with y'all, and then these supporting materials and resources are listed down here. Okay, so you can see when you're clicking through, everything is literally laid out for you. There is nothing extra that you need to do except for get together with your groups about what challenge you really want to focus on based on your objectives and standards. Are you conducting this maybe during a unit? Is it at the end of the unit? Or is this the culminating project like you saw and was shared earlier about the video where, you know, students saw it at the beginning and then they had time to actually delve into the project and then they saw the ending piece as well, right? So is it at the end of the semester? Anything that's going to help you. So first and foremost, you want to define your objectives and standards. What is it you want your students to accomplish? What's that problem that they're trying to solve? Is it the community issue? Is it a classroom thing? Is it a school issue? Are they trying to resolve? What are they learning from these outcomes? Like, what are the learning outcomes for the students, right? And from here on, you can read the remainder of these questions. Like, I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm not going to read it for you, but I do want you all to have that opportunity to see the steps of how you plan for this. And once you've done this, you know, 2 to 3 times, you won't even need the planning sheet anymore. Like, it'll just come so naturally to you that you're going to be like, oh yeah, I think I remember using that, but it'll come super naturally to y'all. And this is a great habit to create as educators, right? So what I want us to do is I went over the design challenge with us, and you're now going to go out into a breakout group in just a moment. But before you do that, I want to make sure that I have everything. Thank you, Todd, for dropping the links. If you all need anything, please make sure that you do share it out in the chat. And then Lucara and Todd, I'm sorry if I don't notice it right away, but please feel free to pause me and then let me know. And I'm happy to be a part of that. Okay. All right. So you're going to get an opportunity in your breakout groups to actually go through this roadmap, and you get to select your own roadmap. And then have your own planning sheet. You're going to make a copy of the planning sheet because I really want you guys to take something away from this session. And you're going to develop a unit plan with the key objectives and resources. And your biggest question for me, I think, would be, oh my God, am I going to get done with this throughout your session? No, you're not. But you do have a great starting point, y'all. And I do want to make sure that you have these resources readily available to you. So you'll have the opportunity to work with your peers during these breakout groups. And just like we want to be sure, right? Summer is typically the time when teachers are looking for PDs that they can bring back to the classroom. So this is a great activity to share with them that you'll have in your pocket, in your toolbox, in your coach toolkit, to share and show with them when they start up with you. Okay, so what I want us to do is you'll have about 5 minutes to really explore that real world challenge independently. I want you all to take a look at that link. So it'll be the link that Todd shared with you for the digital promise roadmap. Okay, and you all will have the opportunity to take a look at these different challenges that you have here. And then I want you guys to, I want y'all to go ahead and share out what you learned and what you noticed. Okay, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to give you all about, and I know I said 5 to 7 minutes, but we're going to cut it short just a little bit, just so you have more opportunity to collaborate in your breakout session. So I'm going to give us about 1 to 2 minutes. And it's going to be this link right here, excuse me, the realworld.digitalpromise.org/roadmap. Okay. I'm going to give you a moment to peruse and navigate around. And I'll start my timer. I'll give us until 32. So it'll be 1:32 for me, 12:32 for others, and maybe 11 or 10 for others. I apologize. Okay, it's 32 after, and I want to make sure I give you all that opportunity. Can you share out what you learned or what did you notice when you were just navigating through the real world challenge?
Also like that once you get into it, it gives you actual examples, right? Like, so you don't have to necessarily
Hi, Coach Moore. I'm so sorry. I think we're getting feedback. I'm so sorry. I love what you're saying, but I want to make sure I understood. Maybe it's your car, Todd. Are y'all able to hear a little bit more clear than myself?
No, I'm seeing shaking heads. Can you hear me better now?
Okay, much better. Yes.
Sorry, I connected a new microphone this morning, so apparently I didn't change it everywhere. Okay, I was saying that I like the fact that it actually gives like real world issues that you can choose from. So it's not giving you just theoretical things to do and then leaving you to come up with the topics and things like that. So it really starts you from a foundational place.
Absolutely. And it's, I do appreciate that. It does provide more real world opportunity or challenges for our students. Michelle, I see that you said it was well laid out, easy to follow, clear objectives, the SMEs are in place. Brittany, you noticed that everything is very detailed. So I really love to see that y'all have had that chance to take a look into these different challenges and just see what's out there. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing that out. And I was like, hang on, there we go. All right. So now you're going to get an opportunity to collaborate with your peers in one challenge that you select in your group. You're going to go ahead and select one of those challenges to work together on using that real world roadmap challenge. You can use this planning sheet, and Todd will go ahead and drop this link. This is kind of more of the, let me just share and show with you. It's going to ask you to make a copy. So it's a forced copy for you. So when you do this, let me make sure it has me. Okay. It's taking a while, so I'm just going to show you. So this is going to walk you through, and I have these questions available to you, so you don't have to think about, oh my gosh, did I forget something? Did I miss something? It's going to ask you, how's this project aligned with or enhances the specific learning objectives for the curriculum you have? What are you going to assign as a social problem or the categories? How many class periods or hours are you going to dedicate to this project? Identify 2 to 3 goals, so on and so forth. Y'all can see the rest of the questions that are down there for you. But if you've never experienced the plannings yourselves, right, how would you coach your teachers during their instructional planning? And so this planning sheet really provides that element and that space for you to have the opportunity to think through these things and stretch your thinking more so on receiving just this planning worksheet as you're going through the challenge-based learning, or the the challenge. Okay. So in just a moment, Todd is going to go ahead and break us out into breakout rooms. Do you all have questions for me before you do break out into your breakout groups? Or let me ask this, can I go to repeat back really quickly of what's the assignment when you're in your breakout group?
We are going to select a challenge as a group using the real world roadmap challenge guide, and then make a copy of the RWL planning sheet and fill that out.
Fabulous. Thank you, Brittany. You said it wonderfully, my friend. I do appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to let us go ahead and get into a breakout group. Remember that worksheet, it's going to ask that you make a copy of it. So it's going to be a forced copy. So that way y'all are able to collaborate, or you can have this for yourself and then take it to your teachers throughout the course of your coach sessions with them. Okay, Todd, whenever you're ready.
Can we get an update about how much time we'll have in breakout rooms for this session?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So I'm going to probably cut us down to 20 minutes now, just because, or probably 18 minutes. Todd, is that cool? So in that way they have some time to work on this, and then they'll have the opportunity to come back and share.
Also, was the worksheet, the planning sheet ever dropped in the chat, or is it somewhere else?
Nipa, we need to talk about that before I drop it in the chat.
Okay. So how about you guys go ahead and get into the breakout groups, take a look
I'll
at the
send it to the
different
breakout.
challenges, and then we'll drop it in the link in just a moment for you. And actually, Todd, I do have in my notes. Let me get back to my notes. Where are you?
I see it like the one in there's 2 different versions, and the one that I'm using is asking for it, but the one that somebody else put in. So I'll put that one back in.
The real world challenge one, the RWL.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's in there. They just are forced copy. They can do this one, and then there's also a generic one. But since they have this, they're able to use this one in there.
So put that one in there too.
And here's the other thing: when you drop it in our chat, they don't get it in the breakouts. So
no, I broadcast it to everybody.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. I was like, they don't get
yeah, no worries, no worries.
No, I do appreciate that. It's like we've been talking up a storm. Thanks, Todd. Okay, So I was saying to y'all, thank you so much for the wonderful, rich conversations that you were having in your breakout sessions. It was so wonderful to listen to. And it was also so great to see some of my friends back from HISD. So thank you all for being here. I do want to share with you that there's this general planning sheet that I have linked here. You're more than welcome to use that, but I wanted y'all to have that real world learning planning sheet, the RWL, for the specific challenge itself. But is there anyone that's a brave soul that would love to share out with us just one or two things that you were able to discuss during your, or that you experienced, or that you had an aha moment during your breakout session? Yes, Brianna.
So in my breakout session, we had a bit of a conglomerate of age levels or grade levels that we're going to be servicing. We had some RISE CITs as well as middle school who has been working like in this field for a little bit and then brand new, and I'm at a K-8. So looking at the challenges and then the needs in each challenge, it definitely helps with the planning out when you know your audience, you know who your goal is targeting, and getting able to talk with others how they may incorporate that on a lower level versus a higher level, since I may be working with kinder through 8th grade. So it was really good. And the planning sheet helps you lay all that out so you have the spiraling or the scaffolding needed on the page, and you can just go for it instead of thinking it up right then and there.
Perfect. Thank you, Brianna, for sharing that. And I love that you mentioned that, you know, you were able to take a look at the challenges and kind of give yourself a mind frame of who's my target audience, you know, who am I gearing my challenges towards, and then be able to align your objectives towards that and filling out the planning sheet. And like I was mentioned before, and I said it, I'll say it time and again, I really try to provide resources where it kind of does all the work for us. So all we have to do is really sit there, synthesize, process, and then execute it. So thank you for sharing that. Yes, I see another hand raised. I'm so sorry. Go for it. Yep.
That's okay. I just wanted to share that we talked about helping teachers as thought partners and helping them to reflect on their why in order to make sure that when they select their standards and objectives for their students, for having, ours was a guest speaker, for having that guest speaker, then understanding their why and being able to express their why and articulate it in a way that is student friendly, then that will help to keep them aligned with whatever standards and objectives they're looking at for their students.
I love that. And I love that you bring that up, the why, right? The why is what really drives our instruction. It really drives the curiosity for our students, for our learners. And that's what's really going to help build this into a more impactful challenge for our students. So thank you for sharing that. If you do have other thoughts and things that you'd like to share, please go ahead and drop that in our chat. But I do want to make sure that I respect and honor our time. So with that, I am going to move forward, and I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Todd for sharing a little bit with you all about the feedback survey and attendance survey. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. I really hope you got a great deal out of today's session, and I really appreciate your time. So with that, Todd, take it away. Thank you, Coach Moore. I read your comment.
Thanks, Nipa. All right. So I'm going to drop in the chat the link to the attendance survey. So please give that a fill out. And if you requested it, you'll receive your certificate via email. And then Nipa, can you move the slides ahead for me too, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. We also have our schedule of upcoming workshops for our Summer of Powerful Learning series. Please note that we are taking a rest for next week, and we will return back on Tuesday, July 12th. So please, if you haven't already, register for those upcoming workshops as well. We still do have quite a few on tap for the remainder of the summer. And then, as always, we invite you to give our Learning HQ portal a look over. There's AR and VR apps, professional learning resources, and lesson plans there as well. And as always, we end by saying thank you for giving a little bit of your time and your summer. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see you next session.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Enjoy your summers, and thank you for sharing this 1 hour with us today. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.